Hi, everybody. All right. So I just got done on a Zoom call with a client, and I figured now is as good a time as any for me to go ahead and put my story down on camera. My health journey has a couple of different chapters to it, but I thought I'd take you through at least the first one for right now, and then I'll update on another journey on another chapter in another video. So most of you know that I am a certified health coach, and that I have had a national health coaching practice for a little over 10 years now. Well, how did I come to it? How did I come to this passion for creating health for myself? And what is it that I talk about every time I mention habits of health? Some of you may know, and some of you may not. So I thought this might be a good place to start. In 2006, I moved here to Florida. I, at the time, was married. I had two small boys. My boys were 10 and 5, or excuse me, 9 and 5 at the time. And I literally knew no one. I had my parents that were 2.5 hours north of where we moved to, and that was it. I didn't have anybody. So within 3 months after moving here, I was involved in a head-on collision on the highway. And what many people don't know about the background story to that is I was coming back down from Shriners Hospital. My youngest son, Liam, has cerebral palsy, severe cerebral palsy. He was born 3 months premature at 28 weeks. And we were coming back down from our weekly jaunt for his therapeutic stuff. Actually, we would go several times a week, and it's an hour's drive. So we were hit head on the highway. Some idiot missed their turn and decided to make a U-turn on the highway and hit us head on because there was no place for me to go. And by the time it registered for me that those were headlights, not taillights, that I was looking at, there was really nothing for me to do. I had a car to the right of me, car to the left of me, and it was just, literally pray I'd make it. And I did. It was definitely one of those but for the grace of God moments in my life. So fast forward after the accident. So a little bit of detail after the accident. I had numerous injuries that I needed to recuperate from, and I rehabilitate from, actually. And among them were fibromyalgia. I had a slight fracture in my neck vertebrae. I had a damaged right leg, and TMJ, because my jaw was dislocated in the accident. And I was in a lot of pain. I was prescribed very heavy pain medications, which I couldn't take because they would just knock me out flat. And then I couldn't take care of my son, my youngest one, who I was a caregiver and guardian, well, we were both guardians, but caregiver for, full-time caregiver for. My husband had to go back to work. He was the only income that there was at the time. And over the course of the next 18 months after that accident, I really found myself at the bottom of everything. I truly believed that the best of my life and the best of my body was behind me. And I would wake up every day and just kind of like, oh, I can't believe I have to do this. Can't believe I have to figure this out and push through another one. And while I never thought to take my own life, I will tell you right now that I used to go to bed at night and pray to God to either make me whole again or just not make it so that I have to wake up and have to figure out how to navigate another day, because I just couldn't do it. I couldn't see my way out of this darkness. So long story short, I reached out to one of the few friends I had at the time who was a retired chiropractor. And I thought maybe she might know some things, because I know, chiropractics, they have a different type of schooling, and they really deal with more holistic type of health. And so I asked her if there was anything she could share with me that would help make my life a little bit better and a little less painful. It just turns out she happened to be a certified health coach. And she said, Rhoda, if you can tell time and just keep track, and every 3 hours pick something and eat it if I show you how and show you what. If you can just do that, I promise you, you can start to create a base for yourself and a foundation on which you can build a new life. And whatever that's going to be, I promise it'll be better than where you are right now. And I was at that place where I was so sick and tired of feeling in pain and at the bottom of my life, where I had nothing left to look forward to. I was willing to do anything. And just keeping track of time and eating something every 2.5 to 3 hours was something I thought I could do. So I did that. And in 6 weeks, I lost 30 pounds. And I have to say, results not typical. And the reason I have to say that is because everybody's journey is different. My level of compliance was like to the T. I wanted so badly to just have a different life experience than what I was having at that moment. Like I said, I was 41 years old at the time, and I planned to live a very long time, and I did not want it to be in pain and regret and sadness every day, and resentment, because that was building up for sure as well. My other stats were going up too over the course of that 18 months after the accident. My cholesterol levels were rising, blood pressure levels were rising, to the point where my doctor had said, listen, if you don't do something about it, you're going to need to be on medications. And I thought to myself, I am too damn young to be on medications for these kinds of things. It's not okay. So I started program, The Habits of Health. I started on my 5-in-1 program to help lose some weight and make some other corrections that I really wanted to make badly, desperately. I didn't want to be on medications. I didn't want to have a body state that required me to have interventions. And the Habits of Health is what taught me how to do that. It really taught me how to fuel. It changed my relationship to food. It made me realize how valuable and how critical habits of hydration are, and just the role that water plays in my life, in everyone's life, right? I used to live on coffee and Coca-Cola prior to that. And I had cleaned up my act when I was pregnant with the boys. I didn't consume any coffee or sodas and things like that. But then after the boys were born and after I was done nursing, you kind of fall back into old habits. I learned some other habits too. I learned some incredible habits, about habits of motion. I used to have this incredible aversion to exercise. Ever since I got out of high school, I used to play a lot of sports, but ever since I was sort of an adult, I really didn't do very much. And I hated going into the gym. To me, it was an experience that was more like a meat market. Nobody would, guys wouldn't leave you alone if you were working out. Everybody's trying to show you how to work the equipment. And in my experience back then, the women that were at the gym either were there to try to pick up guys, or I was so intimidated by, the level of shape that they were in that I didn't want to go to the gym. It just wasn't a good fit for me. I don't have anything against gyms. I'm just saying what was true for me. So, and I've never been a person that just liked exercise for the sake of exercising. So when I was introduced to the idea of habits of motion, oh my gosh, it was amazing. And this idea that, wow, you could just build additional motion into your life and into your day every day and just be a very active person. And now movement becomes something that's a joy. It's not a chore. And that changed my relationship to exercise. So changed my relationship to food. I treat it as fueling now, change my relationship to hydration and water and what I drink and what I put in my body. I don't want calories in what I drink. And if and when I do, don't get me wrong, I appreciate a good glass of red wine with some beautiful, healthy, lean and green in the evenings, just like anybody else. But I kind of got, a great perspective. Changed my relationship to sleep. Oh my gosh. The fact that when I started practicing proper fueling and proper hydration and proper motion, the most incredible things started happening. I stopped all the inflammation in my body, which meant that I stopped all the pain. And I learned and understood the relationship between inflammation and pain. And how to, when I stay really hydrated, it flushes out the things that you don't want in your body as well. And the fact that I started looking better and the fact that I started feeling better, I had such fog prior to getting on program and on 5-in-1. And then all of a sudden I just started having such mental clarity. So to have, physical stamina and energy and mental clarity and acuity, that meant everything to me. I mean, I felt like I got my life back. And actually, I didn't get it back. I got it back and then some. I actually realized that I was able to build upon that. So that was the beginning of my health journey. And I kind of found myself in that place where I was a little bit farther ahead than I ever was before in terms of how great I felt and how pleased I was at what I was seeing in the mirror and where my attitude and my gratitude was at that point. And I stayed there for quite some time. And that's sort of where I've been, kind of coasting in that really happy place. And I didn't end up trying to start my vocation back again, which at the time was a metacognition tutorial service. I used to teach kids study skills. I taught SAT, GRE, PSAT, and ACT prep. And I used to be a lead instructor nationally for and trainer for Kaplan. And I left there and started my own private practice and went head to head with them. And it was a very successful practice. And I also did decision-making skills for executives in the corporate world. And I didn't want to do that again because my experience, I mean, I love that little light bulb moment I can create for people. But what I loved most was the fact that the Habits of Health program and the field of health coaching was something that I just fell in love with. The fact that somebody could take me from the place that I was, where I didn't want to live another day. I didn't want to have to figure out how to navigate another day. I was just exhausted. And I had, you can't fix stinking thinking with the same brain that's in the process of stinking thinking. You just can't. You need people, you need a system, you need structure that helps you plug into something and completely changes the things you do, the attitude that you have, and the ways in which you think. And you can't do that by yourself. There is no such thing as this whole idea of self-help that you can, to the extent that you can, when you have the support and the right surroundings around you. Well, maybe I shouldn't qualify it as an absolute. I'm sure there are some incredibly strong and equipped people out there who have completely managed to change their lives on their own. But by and large, it is definitely not the norm. And that is evidenced by the way things are in this country. So for every conversation that I have with somebody that says, "Nah, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it." Okay, how's that working for you? And 3 months later, and 6 months later, and 1 year later, how's it working for you now? Have you accomplished? Are you still just not doing it? I would like to propose that maybe a person just doesn't do it because they really just don't know what to do. And when you plug into a system that makes everything so easy for you and it just breaks it down into each individual little habit along the way, and you get to take baby steps and you build your confidence and your competence, and you do that inside of a group of people who just love on you and show up for you every single day, and that you get to be accountable to, and you check yourself in, and you share some thoughts and you share how things are going with you, and then they kind of tell you whether or not you got a little bit of stinking thing going on, and they help you change that and make a new orientation. It changes everything. So there's part one, and I hope that might lead to some light bulb moments for you. And I've recently, taken that journey a little bit further, or I've decided to take it a little bit further, and I'll do that in another video. I hope you are having a great day. It just started thunderstorming here. Ugh. And I hope that you are staying healthy and that you are finding, if not great joy, at least pockets of joy here and there. And I hope that you are recognizing how truly blessed you are. All right, take care. God bless.